On the evening of the 30th of June 1916, men from the Royal Warwickshire Regiment enjoyed a hearty supper as they prepared to advance towards enemy lines near the River Somme in northern France. The Germans had been subjected to a week-long bombardment, and British commanders believed that this had severely weakened their enemy's defences. On the morning of the 1st of July, thousands of British soldiers climbed from their trenches and advanced towards the German lines with quiet confidence. They were tragically mistaken. Much of the German barbed wire had survived the bombardment, and machine gun crews were waiting. This was the opening act of one of the bloodiest battles in human history. More than 3 million men fought. Over 1 million were killed or wounded.
The Battle of the Somme was fought between July and November 1916, and it was the biggest battle of the war fought by the British Army up to that point. It was fought in part to relieve the German pressure. They were attacking Britain's French allies down at Verdun, but it was also intended to be, at best, a breakthrough, which would reopen mobile warfare. But General Haig, who was the British Commander-in-Chief, always had a plan B, which was, if you didn't achieve a breakthrough, then to grind down the enemy in a battle of attrition.
At the heart of the offensive were the battalions of the Royal Warwickshire Regiment. On the 1st of July, the 1st, 6th and 1st, 8th Battalions were part of an attack on the heavily fortified German position known as the Heidenkopf, just south of Serre. The 1st 6th Battalion alone lost more than 500 of the 836 officers and men who went over the top. As the battle dragged on through the summer and autumn, other Royal Warwickshire battalions fought at Ovillers, Pozières and the Ancre. It was the first meaningful taste of action for the regiment's Birmingham PALS battalions. These volunteer units were formed from friends, neighbours and workmates who enlisted together. When they fell, the grief was felt not just by families, but by entire communities. The Fusilier Museum in Warwick covers more than 350 years of regimental history, from the formation of the Royal Warwickshire Regiment in 1674 to the Royal Regiment of Fusiliers today. To mark the 110th anniversary of the Somme, a special exhibition explores the experiences of the men who fought there, through diaries, photographs, newspaper cuttings and personal belongings.
One of our collection is a watch that was donated from a captain to a soldier because he saved his life on the 1st of July. There's a helmet on display that's got a shrapnel hole in it, and the person was wounded on the 1st of July.
Reading the war diaries especially, they write something every single day, and when they're in action, they can be writing every few minutes if something happens. It's been quite an intense experience in some ways.
There's one cutting which is quite dramatic, where it ended. There were 900 people in this particular Warwickshire battalion. At roll call the next morning, only 90 turned up. And there was an officer sitting on his horse, crying his eyes out. Now, when you read something like that, again, it brings it home to you. These things matter. And that's what I hope will come across to people.
This war service badge was made by the Birmingham jewellery factory, W.J. Dingley.
This was particular to Birmingham. They had these enamel badges, so they could wear on the lapel to prove that they had enlisted. They hadn't got the uniform yet, that was a few weeks away, but they'd been given this badge to say, I'm doing my bit, and that's it. So they weren't given the white feather.
When war broke out, Percy Dingley, the owner's son, joined the Birmingham PALS as a private in the 1st City Battalion. He probably wore one of the badges made in his father's factory. In 1916, the PALS joined the Somme offensive. On the 23rd of July, Percy was reported missing in action near Delville Wood, just east of Pozières. He was eventually confirmed dead in October 1917. Like many, his body was never found. In total, around 47,500 men served in the Royal Warwickshire Regiment during the First World War across 31 battalions. Just over 11,000 never returned. The exhibition showcases fascinating artefacts from the museum's collection. The museum archive contains war diaries, rolls of honour, casualty lists, regimental journals, and many other original records. If you have a relative who served in the regiment, museum staff can help you uncover their story. 110 years on, the Battle of the Somme is remembered for its immense human cost, yet its significance reaches beyond the terrible losses.
It's probably just inappropriate to call the Somme a victory, because we associate that thing with that sort of thing with Waterloo or Alamein or something like that. And the Somme just isn't like that. What it is, however, I think it's a major strategic success for the Allies, that the Germans have taken very heavy casualties. So have the Allies, but the Allies can afford to take heavier casualties than the Germans. This pushes the Germans down a really disastrous strategic route, including, in effect, inviting war with the United States. And in the end, I think that the Battle of the Somme, or something very like it, was the central precondition for bringing about Allied victory in the First World War.